Hello fellow YouTubers and information security professionals, my name is Stephen Brett and I'm an OSINT creeper, that is I exploit open source intelligence, and today we're going to be talking about email reconnaissance. I have the precise definition of what OSINT is below, but I like to say whatever is readily available and that you don't need to pay money or get a warrant for. So today we're going to be discussing email, and I'm going to break this down into parts. First I'm going to talk about that glorious device we call the inbox, which is necessary for a lot of reasons, or rather the sent folder which is necessary for a lot of reasons. Then I'm going to get into tricks that the bad guys use. I'm going to use deceptive display names, altering forwarded emails so that they don't look like forwarded emails, and we're going to get into misleading hyperlinks and ways to figure out the truth of the email. And I have these numbers here below. Keep in mind those numbers because you're actually going to see them again. And with that, let's get into actual email reconnaissance. So let's just see what a normal email actually looks like here. Okay, now this is your set folder. This is very useful for information security professionals because what's a lot of IT problems? Oh, I don't have this document, I thought I saved it, and I didn't, or it's not on this drive. My first question is, did you actually send that document or spreadsheet or whatever as an email attachment? And if you did, then I tell them, go to your sent mail folder. And of course you can see the attachment is right there. It saves it. I can't tell you how many times this has come in handy. Now we're going to look at the standard email format. So you have an email, and of course it shows the display name of the person sending it. And then there's the subject, and of course date, time set on, and display name again. Also note how there's the actual email right next to the display name. I'm going to take advantage of this and exploit it. Okay, so you can actually alter your display name by going to settings, and this is in Gmail, but you can do this pretty much everywhere, and you can change your display name under accounts and imports to pretty much whatever you decide it to be. Usually the default is of course the name on the account, but we're going to be devious. I'm going to pick the name of David Ciano because that's actually an HR person I know at a company I work with. And I'm going to be double deceptive. I'm going to actually make what looks to be the real email as part of the display name. So what I'm going to do is type the less than sign in here. I'm going to actually put an email address in there. So this is designed to basically be double deceptive, essentially. We're going to save changes. Now, one thing that's very important when you change your email settings is I've seen that they're not always actually saved. And yeah, let's just put in some extra characters there too to further confuse people. Is that they're not actually saved, so what you want to do is you want to save changes, of course, but then you want to log out and you want to log back in. And also you can change your reply to address to anything you wish. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save all these changes and we're going to log out. So I've actually set up an email to one of my further email addresses, made the subject matter urgent. You must do training now. So urgent, that's going to get a lot of people's attention. Keep in mind they're going to see the display name from a head honcho. And I've inserted a hyperlink here. Now of course, you can make the text anything you want and the hyperlink anything you want. And that's often the vector of attack, is to use text that seems credible, but then it links to something that it actually doesn't. So we're going to go into another one of the email addresses here, and we're going to look at that email that we just sent out. Okay, there it is. And look, it's displaying that it's from the HR guy. And we put a wand over it here, and we see that right next to it those brackets that make it look even more credible. Now, of course, there is still the actual email it's sent from, but let's keep in mind that oftentimes the user is taxed. I mean, how many of us have a job where we dread checking email on Monday because we know there's going to be 30, maybe 40 emails in there? And so you see this one's marked urgent. I often like to say you should never call the user incompetent. You should think that the user is just very heavily taxed, especially with emails. So, click on that, and we basically see what it is essentially. Fraud, waste, and abuse. Now we're going to forward this email. We're going to edit it in a way that makes it look like it's not forwarded. So you see that there's this message right here, forwarded messages. Well, that's just auto-generated text. All we're going to simply do is we're going to erase it. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to edit recipients, and of course we're going to edit subject matter. Again, subject matter, just subject, is auto-generated as well. And we all pretty much recognize the format. It's FWD for forward, and that tells you you're getting a forwarded email. And we're going to just edit this to make it look like it is not so. We're here again, auto-generated, and we're just going to delete it. And now we're going to go send it to the third email, and we're going to go look at that. Alright, so let's open up the third email address. Okay, there we go. And that's actually the email that sent it there. It's my name. And we see urgent. So the person opens up urgent. And now, how do we actually determine what that is? Well, one of the ways that we can train people to find out what an actual link is to something is to just pass the mouse over it. And you'll notice in the lower left-hand side of the browser window, you pass the mouse over it, it displays what the actual link is. Now, here's another real quick way to do it, because that writing is small and everything, is to just, right-click, copy link address, open anything that you can copy and paste text to, and you have the actual link right there. We see it's YouTube, it's kind of harmless, yeah, it's predictably, you know what this is. It's a music video. We're just having some fun here. But now let's say we want to actually get into what happened. So, we're going to go to Show Original. And this is a display, essentially, of the entire electronic life of that particular email. So, you've got created at, I said 7:35, watch that, you're going to find it again. And of course, we have the history of who it was sent to and who it was sent from. We have the time on the mail exchange. Keep in mind those times are going to be a little bit different. This is Gmail, that basically means Google Mail, and that's all based probably on servers that are West Coast, so we'll get some variation of Pacific time. We're going to have the actual real email addresses in there. Date, timestamps, of course. And there's a lot more that you can do from a forensic perspective from here. We're not going to go that deep today. We'll also take a look at the other email address, and we're going to look at that one as well. Yeah, you can, do your control find, pull specific information from here. Like I said, this is very convenient, and this is where every suspect email investigation really begins. Somebody says, I remember a few years back, it was the famous Nigerian prince email scam. Show Original here. The electronic life of the one that was sent to sbrandon@image.edu. Everything applies pretty much. When you know the date and time, you saw that number, 7:25 p.m., where it was delivered to. So, reasons? It's cheap. How much do you really pay for email, You can do this, bad guys can do this attack and it doesn't cost them that much. It's inefficient but effective. Only 1 out of 100 works. If only 1 out of 100 works, the attacker is actually still very successful. And of course, this is being combined now with social engineering to create much more accurate phishing techniques that are designed to really appeal to people.